Hey guys, welcome to Medifaction. Today we will discuss about the anatomy of nose. So, the nose is the prominent structure between the eyes that serves as the entrance to the respiratory tract and contains the olfactory organ. To learn more about nose, let's start. In this video, I will be enumerating an introduction, and we will also discuss about the external nose, the nasal cavity, the nasal septum, also the arterial supply and venous drainage to the nose, the nerve supply, and finally some important clinical anatomy. Introduction. The nose performs two functions. It is a respiratory passage. It is also the organ of smell. The receptors for smell are placed in the upper one-third of the nasal cavity. This part is therefore lined by olfactory mucosa. The rest of the nasal cavity is lined by respiratory mucosa. The respiratory mucosa is highly vascular and warms the inspired air. The secretions of numerous serous glands makes the air moist, while the secretions of mucous glands trap dust and other particles. Thus, the nose acts as an air conditioner where the inspired air is warm, moistened and cleansed before it is passed on to the delicate lungs. The olfactory mucosa lines the upper one-third of nasal cavity, including the roof formed by cribriform plate and the medial and lateral walls up to the level of the superior concha. It is thin and less vascular than the respiratory mucosa. It contains receptors called olfactory cells. External nose. The external nose has a skeletal framework that is partly bony and partly cartilaginous. The bones are the nasal bones which form the bridge of the nose and the frontal process of the maxilla. The cartilages are the superior and inferior nasal cartilages, the septal cartilage and small alar cartilages. The skin over the external nose is supplied by external nasal, infratrochlear and infraorbital nerves. So this right here is the alar cartilage, and this is the lateral process of septal cartilage. This is the nasal bone. So the nasal cavity extends from the external nares or nostrils to the posterior nasal apertures and is subdivided into right and left halves by the nasal septum. Each half has a roof, a floor, and medial and lateral walls. The roof is about 7 cm and 2 mm wide. It slopes downwards both in front and behind. The middle horizontal part is formed by the cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone. The anterior slope is formed by the nasal part of the frontal bone, nasal bone, and the nasal cartilages. The posterior slope is formed by the inferior surface of the body of the sphenoid bone. The floor is about 5 cm long and 1.5 cm wide. It is formed by the palatine process of the maxilla and the horizontal plate of the palatine bone. It is concave from side to side and is slightly higher anteriorly than posteriorly. Nasal septum. The nasal septum is a median osseo-cartilaginous partition between the two halves of the nasal cavity. On each side, it is covered by mucous membrane and forms the medial wall of both nasal cavities. The bony part is formed by A. the vomer right here, and also the perpendicular plate of ethmoid, which is right here. So these two bones constitute almost entirely the bony part. However, its margins receive contributions from the nasal spine of the frontal bone, the rostrum of the sphenoid, and the nasal crest of the nasal, palatine, and maxillary bone. So, as I told, this is the nasal spine of frontal bone. This is the nasal crest of nasal bone. Moving on. The cartilaginous part is formed by A, right here, the septal cartilage, and also the septal process of the inferior nasal cartilage. This is the septal process of inferior nasal cartilage. The cuticular part or lower end is formed by fibro-fatty tissue covered by skin. The lower margin of septum is called columella. Right here you can appreciate the columella. The nasal septum is rarely strictly median. Its central part is usually deflected to one or the other side. The deflection is produced by overgrowth of one or more of the constituent parts. The septum has four borders: superior, inferior, anterior, and posterior, and also two surfaces, right and left surface. Now let's move on to the arterial supply. The anterosuperior part is supplied by the anterior and posterior ethmoidal artery. This right here is the anterior ethmoidal artery, and this right here is the posterior ethmoidal artery. The antero-inferior part is supplied by superior labial branch of facial artery. So this is the anterior inferior part supplied by the superior labial artery, which is a branch of facial artery. The posterior superior part is supplied by sphenopalatine artery. This is the posterior superior part, and here we can see the sphenopalatine artery, which is the main artery. Now, the posterior inferior part is supplied by few branches of greater palatine artery. These are the greater palatine artery which supplies the posterior inferior part. The anterior inferior part or vestibule of the septum contains anastomosis between all the branches. For example, right here you can see the septal ramus of the superior labial branch of the facial artery, sphenopalatine artery, greater palatine, and anterior ethmoidal artery. Right here. These form a large capillary network called Kesselbach plexus. This is a common site of bleeding from the nose or epitaxis and is known as Little's area. Venous drainage. The veins form a plexus which is more markedly in the lower part of the septum or Little's area. The plexus drains anteriorly into the facial vein. This is the facial vein where it drains anteriorly and posteriorly through the sphenopalatine vein to pterygoid venous plexus. Now let's learn about the nerve supply of the nose. Number 1. General sensory nerves arising from the trigeminal nerve are distributed whole of the septum. A. The anterior superior part of the septum is supplied by the internal nasal branches of the anterior ethmoidal nerve. This is the anterior ethmoidal nerve, and it is the internal nasal branch. B. The antero-inferior part is supplied by anterior superior alveolar nerve. This is the anterior superior alveolar nerve which supplies the antero-inferior part. Now see, the posterior-superior part is supplied by medial posterior superior nasal branch of the pterygopalatine ganglion, which is nothing but here. This is the medial posterior superior nasal branches which supplies the posterior superior part. Now all we have left is the posterior inferior part, which is supplied by the nasopalatine branch of the pterygopalatine ganglion. It is the main nerve. So this is the nasopalatine, which is a branch of pterygopalatine ganglion. Special sensory nerves or olfactory nerves are confined to the upper part or olfactory area. These are olfactory rootlets. Now let's move on to some important clinical anatomy. Number 1. The sphenopalatine artery is the artery of epitaxis. Number 2. Little's area on the septum is common site of bleeding from the nose or epitaxis. Number 3. Pathological deviation. Right here. Pathological deviation of the nasal septum is often responsible for repeated attacks of common cold, allergic rhinitis, sinusitis, etc. Here we can see the deviated nasal septum. This is the nasal cavity. So, in order to correct this, we need surgical procedures. Hope you have understood the video. Like, subscribe and press the bell button for more videos. Thank you. Thanks for watching.